Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to our front porch at the Central Reform Congregation. And we are in the second week of our ascent of the 7 weeks of consolation, moving our way slowly toward the new year. And ready for a Shabbat. It was a big week for the country, a big week for primaries and passing legislation that we hope will be life-saving. I'm sure that there are lots of things going on for many people. So let's enter into this space where we can take a little taste of the world to come. So we'll begin. Our Siddur is available on our website, and the evening service, Kabbalat Shabbat, where we first welcome the angels. Welcome the angels for Shabbat. With the words of Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Ashari, Malachi Elyon, Malachi Harachamim, Mi Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Echem Leshalom Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Malachi Harachamim, Mi Melech, Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Malachi Harachamim, Mi Melech Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzitechem Leshalom, מלכי שלום מלכי עליון מלכי הרחמים מי מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא
Let this be a day of light, a day of lift, a day of joy. I often think about that story of the rabbi who came to the shul and wouldn't go in. And when the people said, Rabbi, why won't you come in? He said, there's no room for me. The words have no lift. So we're counting on everyone out there, my friends, my friend Lori Barron, California, Angela, the new mother down the road, all the good people who are joining us tonight. It's up to each of us, it's up to all of us to bring a little lift to everything that we do. Yom Zeh LeYisrael.
Yom Zeh LeYisrael Ora v'simcha Ora v'simcha Ora v'simcha Shabbat menucha Ora v'simcha Ora v'simcha Shabbat חמדת לבבות לאומה שבורה נפשות נכבוד נשמה additional soul here on the Shabbos Tzera Yasiracha Shabbat Menucha Yom Zeh LeYisrael Ora v'simcha Ora v'simcha Ora v'simcha Shabbat Menucha Ora v'simcha Ora v'simcha Shabbat
And of course, on Shabbat, we call out to that which makes us whole, that which inspires us to love more, to live more. L'cha Dodi, we call to you, beloved, believing that the way that we do this somehow will bring the upper and the lower worlds a little closer together. Maybe Tiferet and the Shekhinah back together. And we may need to go inside because It looks like our neighbors are about to mow their lawn. So let's see if we can get through Lechadodi.
Lechadodi לקראת קלה, בני שבת לקבלה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, בני שבת לקבלה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, בני שבת לקבלה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, בני שבת לקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל עמך, אדוני אחד, שמו אחד, השם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, בני שבת לקבלה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, בני שבת לקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה מחשבה תחילה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, בני שבת לקבלה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, בני שבת לקבלה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, בני שבת לקבלה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, בני שבת. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בעורך קומי, אורי, 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 שיר דברי, גבות אדוני עלייך נגלה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, בני שבת לקבלה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, בני שבת. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצור חולה, תוך אמוני הסגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, בני שבת לקבלה. 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 Speak right into that.
We are going to just be louder, I think, and hopefully they'll cut the grass really quickly as we call each other to prayer with the words of the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai, לעולם ועד, מבורך, מבורך, לעולם ועד.
We turn to the words of the Shema, words that help us to remember that we are one with each other, one, oh good, with creation, recognizing that everything we do has an impact. Shema Yisrael, God says, listen, you God wrestlers, you people who think you know what God is and God isn't. Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Everything is one. The personal, the political, the universal. We think there's separation, even while we shelter in place. But truly everything we do, everything is connected. So the Shema reminds us.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושופך וקומך וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, הייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Amen. And in every service we sing the same words that Moses and Miriam and all of the people of Israel sang as they crossed the sea. Muriel Rakazer wrote a poem and she said, I will not cross completely until all who are stuck will cross, all who are enslaved, all who are oppressed will find their way into the sea with me, and then we will cross together. Until then, we will continue to sing. This is in St. Louis, the weekend just before the anniversary of the death, the murder, the killing of Mike Brown Jr., a time that really began a movement of awareness that brought more and more people into the sea singing. And I think what we see today, the changes that are just beginning to give us hope, just beginning to happen, are because more and more people are saying that we will sing. We will stand in the sea together until everyone is able to stand together and march together, knowing that it will take us to a better place. That's fine.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you. And so we sing the same words that Moses and Miriam and all of the people of Israel sang at the shores of the sea.
Michamocha ba'alim Adonai, Michamocha nadar v'kodesh, nagati lo tosef eleh, malchutecha ruvanecha, bukiyam livnei Moshe, zeli, 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 zeli anu yamaru. Adonai imloch, Adonai imloch, Adonai imloch leolam vaed. Adonai imloch, Adonai imloch, Adonai imloch leolam vaed. Adonai imloch, Adonai imloch leolam vaed. Adonai imloch, Adonai imloch, Adonai imloch leolam vaed. Leolam, leolam. Vo'ed v'ne'emar ki v'da Adonai et Yaakov, u'lo miyad chazak mimenu. As you redeemed Jacob and saved him from arms that grew stronger than his own, so may you redeem all who are oppressed and persecuted. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom. Let us lie down in peace. V'amidenu, let us get up again. Shomreinu l'chaim, shelter us in peace. V'rosa aleinu, sukkot shalomecha, spread over us the shelter of your peace. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukkot shalom aleinu, yakol amo Yisrael, v'yal Yerushalayim, v'yal Yerushalayim. Shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש שבת ויהי נפש שבת ויהי נפש. Children of Israel shall keep the Shabbos, observing it in every generation. It's a covenant for all time. It's a sign forever between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days the Eternal One made the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh day God rested and was refreshed. Vayinafash. God breathed His soul into creation. Vayinafash. God breathed His soul into creation. Vayinafash. Adonai Sifatai Tiftach Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha Adonai Sifatai Tiftach Ufi Yagi Oh God, open up my lips, that my mouth may speak poetry and sing your praise. Adonai, Sifatai, Tiftach, Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka Elohei Leah v'Elohei Rachel Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot Umevii Geula Livnei Bneihem L'man Shemo B'Ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'Ezrat Sarah Ata Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei Hakol Ata Rav Lehoshia Hakel Chaim B'Chesed Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim V'Rofeh Cholim U'Matir Asurim U'Mekayem Emunato Le'Shenei Afar Mi chamocha ba'al givorot, u'midomei lach, melech me'mi, u'mechaye, u'matzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah l'chachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. And as we reflect on what we need to do to feel the shlemut, the promise of shalom, that is Shabbat, we offer a prayer for peace. Prayer for peace.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam forever and forever. Yatahu melech adon lechol hashalom. V'tov beinecha levarech, it's good in your eyes. Et amcha Yisrael. Bechol עת at all times, Bechol sha'a bishlomecha, peace at all times. Baruch atah Adonai. Hamevarech et amo Yisrael, Shalom, bless your people with peace. 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 Use shalom bimroma. Yaseh shalom aleinu. Yakol Yisrael ve'inu amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu. Yakol Yisrael, Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu. Yakol Yisrael. Yes, Shalom Aleinu, Yaakov Yisrael. Yes, Shalom. Yes, Shalom. Shalom Aleinu, Yaakov Yisrael. Meditations in my heart. You Ratzoni Brevi Yom Bibi. The imaginings in my heart. Adonai Zuri. You are my rock. You are setting me free.
Praying that these prayers are the best part of our toolbox. Prayers that help us kind of find our center again, especially in these challenging times. And I know for me, it felt like we were ground zero again a little bit this week in St. Louis, Missouri, as we come up on the 6th anniversary of Mike Brown's death and the Ferguson uprising. We had national attention again because of our elections. We elected pretty much all of the black women that were running for office. We elected or re-elected them. And we also passed Medicaid expansion, which we've been working on for 10 years in Missouri. 10 years, and it still only passed by a little, but it passed. It means 230,000 more people will have access, we hope, to healthcare, to the healthcare system that we have, better than nothing. So that was a big deal, and we had, I know many of us who've been working on these things had calls from all over the country. You did it. They were so excited for us. We are guardedly excited because we know where we are. But for a moment, it did feel like we were moving. We were getting a little bit further through the sea. This portion, Ekev, is one of those very difficult portions. It says, if you do these things, then I will bless you. And if you do not, watch out. I'll get you. And we so know that the world doesn't work this way. It would be nice to have a formula for guarding us from sickness and suffering. Light candles, do these prayers, eat this, don't eat that, say these blessings. Wouldn't it be nice if we had a formula that really worked to make things go right for us? So what does it mean when it says, if you do these things, I will give you rain in its season? If it doesn't mean that there is an easy way to bring down blessings. Well, Ramban in the Middle Ages gives us a hint. He says that if you do these things, the world might be a little better, which will help you when you have to deal with its brokenness. And that feels a little bit more true. So when it says we will have rain in its time and there will be abundance, it's not as a reward when bad things, a reward when we do good things and a punishment when bad things happen. Rather, it says this, and we included this section, by the way, in our prayer book, because we know that there are consequences, not rewards and punishments, of course, but consequences we know for our actions. There are consequences that have brought the protests, right? And maybe there are consequences that even the severity of this pandemic is certainly not a punishment for anyone's bad deeds, but it is a consequence, right? They could be, the severity could be a consequence of many failures, missed opportunities, and many mistakes. So in this portion, we're about to come into the land. Remember, Moses is kind of giving us a last minute recount of where we've been and what we need to know to go into the land, because it's not going to be with us. So we're about to come into the land of milk and honey. Milk and honey, it says, will be abundant in the land, but there's still going to be work to do. There's still going to be wrongs to right. So what's the challenge? Moses says the challenge is to let ourselves be satisfied without being complacent. Can we do this? Can we be satisfied with a gratitude that keeps us humble? To be satisfied within oneself no matter what is happening on the outside, so you can respond in holy and healthy and healing ways and be still enough with all of the noise to listen and to not jump to conclusions, to give the benefit of the doubt, to care deeply for those who are still hungry even when we are not? Can we be sated and still yearn to know and experience the holy in everything that we do? Because satedness, satisfaction, can lead us away from holiness. But Judaism, this portion doesn't ask us to become ascetic or to deny ourselves the bounty of the land. Rather, it asks us to see the blessing in the plenty and combine it with blessing so that it can take us to generosity, keeping us aware that body and soul need to be nourished by gratitude and experiencing God in everything, and making sure that we don't forget when we were hungry. We don't forget those who still are. So the portion is also worried that when we enter the land, we will depend too much on her plenty and forget that the true satisfaction comes not from this stuff, not from being sated, but it comes from within. It comes from humility. It comes from remembering where we came from, and that the way to satedness is through gratitude and service to others. So the Torah seems to be worried that the wheat and the barley and the pomegranate and the figs and the olive oil and the date honey, all of this, the richness of the land, will spoil us. But the answer is not to deny us these wonderful delights. The answer the portion gives us is to remember to bless them. It says, eat, bless, and be satisfied, because without the blessing, there is no chance for the ultimate savata, right? The ultimate filling up inside. So filled up we get that we are ready to overflow, not with more stuff, but with love and kindness and gratitude and compassion whenever we possibly can. And so the portion is called Ekev. It's a strange term. It comes from the root heel, H-E-E-L, heel, like your heel. And that's where Jacob, right, gets his name, Ekev, because maybe we are on the heels of something, just like Jacob was on the heel of his brother and so got his name. And it could mean soon. Do these things it's suggesting. Live a certain way, because you may be the generation that is on the heels of the Messiah, that may bring the Messiah the age of peace, because everything that you do matters. And if we get it right, just maybe that messianic age that we are longing for, especially now, just may dawn. If you do these things, even the little things that fall under your heel, the little things that you don't think are important, they may tip the scales, they matter. What does it take to be that present, to know that this is personal, that whatever is going on is all about all of us, that we have an opportunity here to do something extraordinary, to face the racism that plagues our city and our nation, and to use what we have to be part of the solution, to use this as an opportunity to not only pass the legislation we need to stop the profiling, to train police, to raise the minimum wage, to provide jobs and job training and expand Medicaid, and all the other things we know we are working so hard to do, but to implement these policies and to do all the things we need to do to heal all of the divides. So what does it take for us to be sated, but not complacent? Another teaching in this portion says, Umaltem ariat levavchem, ve'arpchem lo takshuod. It says, circumcise the foreskin of your heart. Do not stiffen your necks any longer, it says. What could this possibly mean? Don't circumcise the foreskin of your heart. Well, maybe it means to keep our hearts so vulnerable, so unblocked by all the stuff that we have, by our satedness in the land, so present with a level of personal intimacy that Ekev, we will be on the heels of something better, and then ve'ahavta, we will love each other more with all of our hearts and all of our souls and with all of our stuff, and surely tip the scales and bring the Messiah right here, right back to ground zero, maybe right here in St. Louis and across this nation. May this really be the time that things will really change. You got a healing prayer? So we offer a Misha Berach. I want to offer a special Misha Berach. I woke up this morning to a call from some dear friends who knew of a young woman who was 17 years old and pregnant and positive with COVID, living in a shelter. And I don't know, I just had a feeling that some of my Catholic friends might know a place for her. And so I reached across divides, counting on relationships that have been built over the years, working on things that we agree on, things that we connect on, immigration reform, poverty, minimum wage, anti-racism work, I reached across those divides to a dear, dear friend, a woman who I knew would help find a place for this young woman. And really within hours, we had her out of the shelter in a cab, paid for by the Catholic Church, by the way, thanking and so grateful they were there to reach out. And now she's in a safe place, probably until her baby's born. And so I'm going to ask for a Misha Berach, a healing prayer for this young woman, for the baby that she is about to have, that they should both be COVID-free soon. They should live long and healthy lives. And I know that there are many people who are working so hard to heal from COVID, from cancers, from other diseases that we have not been able yet to heal. So let us offer this Misha Berach to all the people you hold in your hearts, all the people that have asked us to pray for them.
Forth the nefesh, refuat haguf, for the healing of the spirit, the healing of the body, for those we know, for those we don't know. On my right, the angel Michael, on my left, the angel Gabriel. In front of me, the angel Uriel. Behind me, the angel Raphael. And above my head, above my head, above my head, above my head, Shekhinah there. Michael was like God. Gabriel, God is my strength. Uriel, 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 God is my life. Raphael, God is my healer. Above my head, above my head, above my head, Shekhinah there. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim. Blessed are you, great healer. Amen.
Amen. And we'll turn for CRC members, just supposed to remind everyone that tomorrow morning we have a bat mitzvah for Alexis, and instead of Shabbat morning services at 10:30, they will be at 10 for the bat mitzvah. Everyone is welcome to join as we celebrate Alexis and her becoming a bat mitzvah in these strange times. And now I think we'll sing Elena. So join us as we face, we're actually, east is this way, we face east towards Jerusalem. We always talk to our Israeli friends and some of our Palestinian friends. We reach out to them every Friday morning knowing that it's about to be Shabbat there. And we pray for peace for the people, and healing for the people in Lebanon, in Beirut. The people that could use help all over the world. I think the plane crash in India we're thinking about. And there are just so many. I'm about to learn more about the Rohingya, who are Muslims who are being persecuted still in Myanmar. And, the people around the world. Again, we are all connected. So, we face east knowing that the world is a circle. Aleinu l'shabech l'adon hakol, l'atid gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, velo sormanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kachem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, ve'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. And before we turn our hearts to those who have died at this time in years past, those who have died in this past year with our Kaddish, I am supposed to mention that tomorrow there is a school supply drive at CRC. I think we're collecting school supplies for Gateway 180. Gateway 180 is a homeless, a shelter for the unhoused women and children that we are working to have a deeper relationship with, and so we are collecting school supplies. You can go on the website, see exactly what we need, but between 12 and 2, if you have anything to drop off, all you have to do is go to the parking lot. It's safe, masked, separate, and there will be people from 12 to 2 in the CRC parking lot tomorrow to collect school supplies, I believe, for Gateway 180, and for the unhoused the women and their children who need school supplies so that they can have what they need to have a successful year. And I think that's the only other announcement that I have. So we turn our hearts now to those who are no longer with us. The yard sites for today are Janet Neufeld, B. Kalish, Michael, Mickey Maines, oh boy, Babette Silverblatt, Murray Stein, Shirley Keller, Claire Daniels, Lois Miller, Leslie's mama, boy, Leslie, I don't know if you're there, thinking about your mother, Harry Solom, Sydney Stubby, I think that's Nathan Cohen's uncle, Corey Brown, Agnes Coughlin, Samuel Gilbert, Ann Rubin, Leonard Saxon, Brian Kidder, boy, when he died, Frederick McCullum, Ben Pollock, and I know that Sharon is here with us for your grandfather, for Abraham Sternum and Skeets Skirball, for Robert Baker and Linda Barton. Zerich sites coming up this week. Kathy Getty, Rose Kaplan, Ruth Martin, Gladys Schwartzman, Jerry Vesper, Thelma Edelstein, Sylvia Nissenbaum's quite amazing mother and our member, Ellie Friedman, Julia Goldstein, Nancy Margulies' grandmother. I remember her. She has a child care center named for her in U City. And Ferd Isserman. And as we get to those who died recently, of course, we begin the list with most recent. Oh boy. And, we're coming up next week. It'll be Gabe Wiles' yard site. And for those who died most recently, Esther Liss Greenstein.
Adine Steinsaltz.
And Adine Steinsaltz, right? Of course.
Ron Waxman.
Ron
Waxman.
Ron Waxman, thank you. Simma's dad. Rich Amaker, Jerome Schneider, Sidney Feiner, Kent Huffman, Norman Roth, Charlotte Futterman, Jan Nelson, Marvin Koski, Fran Hyman, Ann Schifrin, Molly Froelichstein, Catherine Goldstein, Clarence Shelley, Libby Greenbaum, Gil Nussbaum, Lillian Eichen, Lily Atkinson, a baby, Shirley Sewell, Harvey Weiss, Claire Kroll, Bonnie Levins, Aaliyah Light, Lou Osheroff, Lil Prelutsky, Gary Krugman, let's see, Pat Dewey, Susan Silver, Tom Trieger, and Dr. Elliot Gelman. And if you have any, Ed Berg, I see, who died in May. Suzanne Glazer, Dr. Jerry Levy. Oh, I think we passed his yard site. Let's see. Betty Oberman, Laverne Emmanuel, and Louise Mandel. For all of these good people, and of course for those who have died of COVID and cancer and Alzheimer's, the ones who died in Beirut, and we did say Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz, who gave us and inspired us so much. May their memories not only be blessings, but inspire us to be the best people that we can be. And so, Paula Berg, let me see. And for all these good people, for all the people you hold in your hearts when we say these words, know that the Kaddish dares us to live more fully, to love more fiercely, and to pray for peace, to never give up praying for peace. And we did say Mike Brown. Thank you, Julie. Of course, we remember Michael Brown Jr. and all of those who have died from police violence. We say, Yid Kadal v'Yid Kadash Shemei Rabbah, v'Yom Divrach Yerutei v'Yamlich Malchutei, v'Chayachon v'Yomachon v'Chayedecho Beit Yisrael ba'Agalah u'Zman Kariv v'Imru Amen, Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach le'olam Omei Omaya, Yid Barak v'Yishtabach v'Yid Ba'ar v'Yid Ramam v'Yid Naseh v'Yid Hadar v'Yid Talei v'Yid Talal Shmei Kudishat Brichu le'elam in Kol Birchata v'Shirata Tushbachata v'Nechmata Damiran be'alma ve'imru Amen Yehei Shlom Rabba min Shemaya v'Chayim Aleinu ve'al Kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen Oseh Shalom b'Ramav Uya Oseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al Kol Yisrael ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel ve'imru Amen. And our friend Todd wants to add the name of Jane Shane from Oak Park. For all these good people, let them find their way to each other in the highest of heavens and be a blessing for us still. Thank you for joining us for this Shabbat, for this Kabbalat Shabbat, from our home to yours, reaching out to you, giving you a blessing across cyberspace here. And so if you're with someone, hold on to them. If you're on your own, hold on to yourself and maybe put your arms out and send this blessing to all of those we have been blessed to share Shabbat with. We say, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmarecha. May God bless you and guard you and keep you safe during these times. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May the light of love shine through us and show us grace and mercy. Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'asem lecha shalom. May all that is good and high and holy bless you with shalom, with shlemut, with wholeness, and with peace, as we have a Shabbat that is renewing. Vayinafash, may it bring renewal to your souls. Shabbat shalom.